Do you guys like my tie?
Yeah.
I'm probably taking myself far too seriously. Maybe I'm bragging here wearing a tie like I'm more special than you guys. You know what's interesting? I once had a friend in my freshman dorm. This is not to do with ties, but I found out that he actually sells a board game he invented in retail stores across all the US. And this was like after a half year of knowing him. Do you guys have a friend like that who's like suddenly like blew you away, like you didn't even know this thing? By the way, I am humble right now because I'm wearing jeans, not khakis, so I didn't go too extreme. I want to study humble bragging, and there's a big motivation for this. We all have friends here at Stanford who are so accomplished, and we like don't really get to know them. Like the conversations go like this: I study CS. Yeah, me too. Let's do P sets together. Imagine if we didn't have any filters. Imagine if we all bragged all the time. It would go like this. I was an Intel finalist for biocomp research on cancer. Hey, I did something similar. Let's change the world. Now, who even says let's change the world? That's like bragging right there. Or like Elon Musk, Yusuf, as you pointed out, he's like being arrogant. I'm not going to fail. Like, I'm Superman. Let's change the world. Well, Steve Jobs actually mentioned once that the people who change the world are those who are crazy enough to say so and to believe that they can. So, even though it's not the most polite thing to do, to brag, it does have some positive aspects. It can bring people together to change the world and do good things. Maybe these guys can cure cancer, if only they knew about each other's achievements. But we have to do it in a humble way, or otherwise people won't take us seriously. Could Jobs have changed the world talking like this? Let's look at the same two options here. Option A would be, hey, let's do pieces together, and Woz would be like, alright, I'll invent this computer later. Option B is he can be arrogant. He can be like, I started the most valuable company. They tried to kick me out. They were so stupid. They begged for me to return. And while I was gone, I invented like Pixar and Next. But that's not how he talks. I mean, you might have seen his commencement speech. This is how he talks. Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choices in life. Almost everything, all external expectations, all pride, all fear of embarrassment or failure, these things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important. Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. You are already naked. There is no reason not to follow your heart. And then around this, he adds things about his accomplishments. And I want to study exactly how this works, this speech as well as others. So many people come to campus, they talk, they're so achieved, and they're not bragging. How do they do it? And here's Bill Gates, who did something similar. So the question is, how do they do it? Talk about themselves in a humble way to change the world. One way is the device of storytelling. That quote I showed you there is Steve Jobs telling a story. I really want to look into the storytelling in these speeches. What exactly about them is humble? What about them is achieved? Have you guys ever had spotlight in your dorm? When people like share their story for like 10, 15 minutes, or maybe on spot, you did that? That's like the only time that I've really heard about people's achievements is when they're giving their spotlight. For some reason, when they're telling their story in spotlight, they're like allowed to share their achievements. And I always like come out feeling like so inspired, like after hearing people's stories. So that's why storytelling is so important for this. Now in terms of feasibility, I have primary sources of the university talk videos. I have secondary sources of people analyzing those talks, but most importantly, I have the tertiary sources about storytelling. There's information on how to use storytelling as a leadership tool by Carmen Gallo, The Storyteller's Secret, The Power of Storytelling by Brian Leggett, and the Stanford Storytelling Project, as well as other training programs for storytelling for leaders. So, let's change the world. Any questions?
That could have been a TED Talk.
Yeah, right there.
That was awesome.